New Star Trek is coming to Aussie Netflix.
While the ABC goes all in for online streaming, but will viewers tune in?
Vertical Hold is proudly brought to you by Alcatel.
Welcome to Vertical Hold, the tech show where we channel surf through the headlines in search of the big picture. I'm Alex Kidman, and I'm here with a man who went to the Captain Kirk School of Public Speaking, Adam Turner. We're also joined by Fairfax technology writer Peter Wells. Peter, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, boys.
Adam, what's new in tech?
Popular BitTorrent search engine Kick-Ass Torrents is offline after the site operator was indicted for copyright infringement related to the distribution of more than $1 billion worth of movies and other content. The site's 30-year-old Ukrainian owner was arrested in Poland and faces extradition to the United States, adding Kick-Ass Torrents to the long list of high-profile file-sharing sites which have been struck by legal woes.
Microsoft's announced Australian pricing and availability for the Xbox One S, which will go on sale for $549 on the 2nd of August, or for $599 with a copy of Gears of War 4. The Xbox One S is smaller, has a reconfigured set of USB ports, but its key point of difference is the inclusion of a 4K Blu-ray support feature for those of you with fancy TVs.
It's a blue tick for you, a blue tick for you, a blue tick for everyone as Twitter opens up its verified user program to all users. That blue ticks were previously reserved for public figures, but now anyone can apply for a blue tick by submitting a phone number, email address and profile photo.
The ATO has only launched its MyTax portal, replacing eTax this year, but it's already suggesting that folks who intend to self-submit their tax returns should hold off on using it until at least August, because by that stage it expects to have the majority of information from employers that should allow its online submission software to pre-fill most of your tax return segments. Good news if you want tax returns a little easier, but bad news if you were thinking of getting a fast return in July.
So, Alex, new Xbox One, 4K. We excited about this?
Well, yes and no. You've got to be excited about the Xbox One as it stands itself. And the big thing with 4K here has got to be more the 4K movies than the 4K games, because to date they've only really talked about a handful of games getting full 4K updates. Obviously, you could plug an existing Xbox One into a 4K screen and see what its upscaling did to it, but that's not exactly a solid guaranteed thing.
So, Peter, are you an Ultra HD man? You excited about these things?
Not really, no. I mean, I've had a review unit.
Oh, well, thanks for joining us, Peter, and next week.
Sorry, mate, but I've had a Blu-ray, a high-def Blu-ray review unit under my desk for about 2 months now, because I don't have a 4K TV to watch it on. So, and, you know, I know I should probably get around to reviewing it, but I just feel like, what's the point when no one else has one either? Yeah,
that is the conundrum. I remember when we shifted to full HD as well, and whenever I wanted to review a Blu-ray or a HD DVD player, I had to say, please sir, can I borrow a television to go with it? And I'm sort of in the same situation now, and I've been fortunate that I've had a couple of Ultra HD televisions come through the house as those other units have showed up to review, like the Samsung Player and the Fetch TV. So yeah, you do kind of have to coordinate your reviewing schedule a bit to make sure you've got all the gear.
That is a pretty rarefied problem, though, and I think the broader thing here is, whilst we're still at that kind of chicken-egg screens, which are available, I mean, 4K screens are now much, much more available than they were, and the prices have come down generally, but content itself, actual movie content, is still a little thin on the ground. But this is still, I think, Adam, you'd have a better perspective than I would, I suspect, this is still a better bounce forward in that it's a $549 4K Blu-ray player, which means it's cheaper than the rest of the market. And of course, being an Xbox One, it actually does a few other things that your standalone Samsung or Panasonic player is just not going to do.
Yeah, the Samsung player is going to sell for $599, which means you might pick it up for a few dollars less. The Panasonic player, I think, is going for 1,100 Australian dollars. Which is, you know, a bit steep in my book.
Does it come with a free lap dance?
Well, it want to. So, yeah, it is comparable with the players. It kind of depends on the sort of user you are in the lounge room you have. Like, in theory, everyone would have been better off with a PlayStation 3 than a Blu-ray player. But if you're a relatively low-tech lounge room, particularly because PlayStations don't want to use the stupid bloody Bluetooth remote control, at least the Xbox One will work with a universal remote control. So in theory, you could set it up, but your average punter might not want to wait for a games console to wake up and then say, oh, by the way, I have to do an update before you can do anything. So yeah, it kind of depends on how much you're prepared to tolerate that kind of stuff in the lounge room.
Those Blu-ray players from Samsung and Panasonic, do they also include Netflix and those kind of things? So,
Yes.
I know Samsung...
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they're
Alright, well, that makes it a
Ultra
bit-
HD Blu-ray players, so they play the new 4K discs, and they also both have built-in 4K Netflix. And they are some of the first set-top boxes that will do a 4K Ultra HD. Before the last few months, if you wanted to watch Netflix in Ultra HD, it had to be built into the television. But so now we've got these two players, plus the Fetch TV Mighty does 4K playback, and this new Xbox One S. So we're starting to see a few set-top boxes that will do it, which is great, because if you're an early adopter for 4K televisions, you might have missed out on the Netflix Ultra HD, which I think relies on the television having the HEVC video codec built into it, I think it is. So if you missed out on that, then the only way you're going to get 4K Netflix on your television is through one of these set-top boxes.
If I was a gambling man, though, looking slightly longer term as more 4K services come on board, the Xbox One S might be a better bet than one of these existing standalone players, because historically speaking, Microsoft has kept on kind of pushing apps and updates out to the Xbox One S, and whilst you said earlier it's a bit of a pain in the butt when you switch it on and it says, oh, before I can do anything I've got to do an update. At the same time, that means there are always new features flowing through. For standalone Blu-ray players, that's a little less frequent though. So Adam, Netflix is boldly going where an awful lot of TV channels and even a streaming competitor has gone before in getting Star Trek on its service. But it's got a little bit extra that its competitors haven't got.
Well, it's getting the new Star Trek. I'm not talking about the new Star Trek movies. There's a new Star Trek TV series that's coming out next year in the US. And it's being produced by CBS, but it's being produced for their online streaming service, CBS All Access. So Netflix has done a deal that means everywhere else in the world except for the US and Canada, you will be able to watch new episodes of the new Star Trek the day after they screen in America, which is awesome. It is the first time ever Australians have legally been able to watch Star Trek in sync with the US. We really are living in the future, people.
24 hours afterwards is not in sync. I mean,
relatively speaking,
we've had this argument before, but I'm sure there will be.
For the crap
I'm sure there will be pirates out there who can
put
play
up for the last few decades from Channel 9. It is a miracle. What I want to know is, to give it to that authentic Star Trek experience, will Sam Newman come around to my house, press pause, and talk for 25 bloody minutes before I can watch the show? That's when I know I'm watching Star Trek.
So, well, look, I'm sure we've just got to, put a Kickstarter together, fund him to do that.
My people will speak to his people, and, we'll make it happen.
Are we talking about the footy show, Sam Newman?
Yeah, the footy show, Sam Newman, because Star Trek has always been on Channel 9, and they've always buried it on Thursday night, late night after the footy show, and Channel 9 doesn't give a stuff about how late the footy show goes. Seriously, they'll let it run 20, 30 minutes late. They do not care. Even to the point where Sam Newman has come out and made fun of Star Trek fans who write in and complain about the fact that 9 treats Star Trek so badly. So you will not find any Star Trek fans who are sorry about the fact that it's not on Channel 9 anymore. It's 10 years since the end of the last one. No, serious. I hate Channel 9, and a lot of people who like science fiction hate Channel 9 for that reason, if nothing else. But it's 10 years since the last Star Trek series finished on television, and even then, that was... we'd reached the point where Australians had broadband speeds that you could download Enterprise from America. You didn't have to watch it on Channel 9. So I hear, theoretically speaking. Cough, cough. But this is a whole new age where it is now within the reach of anybody to be able to go out and steal this. And that's what people were going to do. And the fact that Netflix is going to give it to everybody the next day, this is how you beat piracy. You don't beat piracy with geo-blocks and lawyers and all that rubbish. You beat piracy by going, here you go, we're not going to treat you like schmucks anymore. Give us your $10 a month and you can have what you want. That's how you do it, people. Simple.
First of all, as someone who loves the AFL, I also hate Sam Newman. So, just to put that in perspective. But
I don't have anything against it. I actually like footy. Just the footy show and Newman talking when I want to watch Star Trek.
Absolutely.
It's one of my, childhood memories.
Sports ball.
Yes.
Yeah, I do look forward to seeing Americans paying for VPN services so that they can watch
that's
Netflix.
going to be so sweet. And they're going to whinge about it on Twitter. It's not fair. That's going to be sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a Star Trek man?
Yeah, I just saw the movie.
Oh, good, all right, you can stay. I was about to say, thanks for joining us, Peter. Don't tell me I mean,
I'm a next-gen kind of guy.
You're a next-gen kind of guy. That is interesting, because I just wrote a big piece for the Sunday Age about Star Trek fans, and there are generations of Star Trek fans, depending on how old you are and when you got introduced to the show. So was Next Gen your first taste?
Kirk died.
Yes. Was Next Gen your first taste of Star Trek?
Whoops, spoiler.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so I used to watch it late at night, kind of doing essays and stuff for high school. So that's when it really, it really kind of got under my skin. Then I really became a massive Next Generation fan, and I can watch some of those, like even the really creaky episodes. I really love going back and watching. So I'm really looking forward to this. It's been a while since we've seen a good Star Trek, and I can't wait to see what they're going to do here.
See, the other side of this is that people have kind of gone nuts just on the concept of Netflix picking up the rest of Star Trek, because that's also part of this deal, which has got to be a little bit infuriating if you're Stan, because Stan's had the rest of Star Trek for quite some time now as an offering. But obviously it's a competitive space, because they've got it, Netflix has got it, Foxtel has announced a Trek-specific channel. And whilst I'm with you, Peter, I think Next Gen is the height of it. DS9 is very, very good, but I liked it a little bit more back when it was Babylon 5.
I liked it the first time I watched. Who stole the whole thing from Lord of the Rings anyway? I mean, come on. The whole plot
question,
is
of course,
Babylon
that
5.
I have to ask though is, where's my dedicated Doctor Who channels? Damn it! Trek is okay, but it's no Doctor Who.
You say Stan's on Star Trek's on Stan though, but the Netflix is so far ahead in terms of picture quality though. I sat down and watched some Deep Space Nine on Stan this week, and I have crappy 4 megabit per second DSL cable that's filtered through a dead dog somewhere between here and the Exchange, right? And Stan looked pretty shabby. It really did look like it was coming from the internet. Then I realised that all this is actually already on Netflix. It hasn't. We're not waiting for it. All those back episodes are there now. So I went and watched the same thing on Netflix on the same crappy internet connection, and it looked better than free-to-air television. The other competitors, Stan and Presto, have to lift their game in terms of their adaptive streaming quality and stuff like that to cope with the lower speeds. Because if you said to me from that experience, which one of those two are you going to pay for, no way I would not be paying for Netflix. It just looks so much better on a slow connection.
I guess the other thing there, though, as well, is, and this is certainly true of many of the hardcore trekkers that I know, an awful lot of this back content, not so much the new series, obviously, but an awful lot of this back content has been available by so many means for such a long time. The vast majority of people I know have the box sets. They just go, yeah, I've got all of those, all of those, all of those, all of those.
Yeah.
At which point, Netflix is convenient. Sure, you don't have to do anything with discs, you don't need storage space, but it's like, yeah, but then it's my bandwidth, and if it works, or if it's crappy Stan style quality or Foxtel Play style quality or whatever, disc works, done.
Yeah, but I don't have any discs. I don't have any physical media in my house at all. And if I was going to have anything,
get off my lawn, you punk.
I would have a collection of movies. I wouldn't have, box DVDs of TV shows. So I can see myself the next time, I'm really sick and I'm in bed, pulling out the iPad, firing up Netflix and watching every Next Generation with Q in it or something like that. That sounds fine.
You're planning on being sick for quite some time.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, and I've got to agree with you, Adam, that I did have Stan for I got one of those 3-month deals that they had, and I ended up watching almost nothing because every time I went to play it was just really, really choppy on my connection as well. And look, this was early days, so I'm sure they've improved at least some of the stability of the stream.